Sometimes, life as a gamer can seem to be one endless conversation of justifying your gaming to the rest of the non-gaming world. It can be tough for gamers out there, so we wanted to put together a list of the ultimate comebacks for the 10 biggest misconceptions that people have about us. So whether your grandma says it's making you stupid or your boss says it's for kids, these arguments will put the non-gamers in your life in their place, and possibly in front of a game themselves. Here are 10 huge misconceptions non-gamers have about gaming. Video games make kids violent. No. It actually helps people alleviate stress and can help us quell violent tendencies. We might love killing people in GTA and slaughter entire tribes and civilization, but the fact of the matter is that most gamers are extremely peaceful folks. According to federal crime statistics, the rate of juvenile violent crime in the United States is at a 30-year low. The strongest risk factors for school shootings had nothing to do with media exposure and were centered more around mental stability and the quality of home life. This panic over violent video games is doubly harmful because it means that authorities are more suspicious and hostile to kids who may already feel cut off from the system. Video games are for kids. Look, it isn't 1984 anymore, people. This one pisses us off because we have grown and evolved into a world that has offerings for kids, adults, and now even senior citizens. Open your minds up a little. Already, 62% of console market and 66% of the PC market is aged 18 or older. The game industry caters to adult taste. Meanwhile, a sizable number of parents ignore game ratings because they assume the games are for kids. A quarter of children aged 11 to 16 identified an M-rated, mature content game as one of their favorites. Clearly, more should be done to restrict advertising and marketing that targets young consumers with mature content, and to educate parents about the media choices they are facing. But parents need to share some of the responsibility for making decisions about what's appropriate for their children. The news on this front is not all bad. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has found that 83% of game purchases for underage consumers are made by parents or by parents and children together. This way the parents are at least aware of the games their kids are playing. Video gameplay desensitizes us to violence. This one's a bit annoying because it can be hard to argue, right? Well, game designer and play theorist Eric Zimmerman describes the ways we understand play as distinctive from reality. It's a matter of entering a magic circle. For instance, the same action, say sweeping a floor, may take on different meanings in play, as in playing house, or reality, as in housework. Classic studies of play behavior among primates suggest that even apes make basic distinction between play fighting and actual combat. So while the media might argue that playing violent video games can cause a lack of empathy for real-world victims, the fact is that a person who responds to a video game the same way as he or she responds to a real-world tragedy could be showing symptoms of being severely emotionally disturbed or potentially sociopathic. Playing allows kids to express feelings and impulses that have to be carefully held in check in their real-world interactions. In terms of desensitization, video game violence doesn't have any connection to our real-world interactions. All gamers are guys. Lots of women play video games, and that antiquated idea that girls who play video games don't know how to play is just crap. It's time to kill the idea once and for all that women who are more into the niche, hardcore gaming demographic must be ugly, fat, or somehow unattractive and undesirable, as well as the idea that women who play the exact same games as men are posers and faking it. If you keep believing this, Mila Kunis and Megan Fox are going to snipe your ass in Halo, because yes, they game. Today, web-based games are played more by women than men, and in mobile there are just as many women playing games as there are men. Don't forget that poker, solitaire, Candy Crush, and Angry Birds are all games too. Games are not beneficial. Gamers have been solving science's largest problem for years, and online gamers work to solve puzzles involving genes and having conversations about the universe. In Galaxy Zoo, people classify objects seen by the Hubble telescope, and 50 million real galaxies and celestial bodies were classified in the game's first year. In Eterna and Foldit, players solve biochemical puzzles helping scientists to advance the understanding of genetics. Virtual reality game Snow World even helped a severely burnt Marine feel only a third of the pain he felt outside of the VR world, as he participated in a 3D snowball fight while surgeons operated on his burns. VR has also helped people overcome arachnophobia, OCD, and gambling addictions. So next time someone tells you games are useless, I think you know what to tell them. Video games make you antisocial. Gaming has been social since the days of arcades moved into the world of Pong. Video games have always had a sense of camaraderie and competition attached to them, and people who think otherwise are just plain ignorant. Lots of times, the social aspect is bigger in the gaming world than most people do in real life. And it doesn't just mean that digital friends are real friends. 65% of gamers play their games with a friend present. 33% of kids play with siblings, and 25% play with spouses or parents. Even games designed for single players can come to include a huge online social network of people to communicate with. The World of Warcraft community alone has over 12 million members, and almost half of all US internet players are playing social games every week. Sociologist Talmadge Wright has logged many hours observing online communities interact with and react to violent video games, coming to the conclusion that two players might be fighting to death on the screen but growing closer as friends off of it. Real-life social connections are reaffirmed and strengthened through the online play. Gaming is a waste of time. Really, guys? That's your argument when you just spent 15 hours watching a full season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Gaming involves many of your senses, it is an active form of consumption, and it's a hobby that is emotionally fulfilling. However you spend your free time, it should be something that you enjoy. And when you enjoy something, time is not wasted. Plus, when you add in the fact that there are tons of benefits to gaming, it can be profitable, it can make you smarter, and you can even help scientists unravel the mysteries of the universe. So talking about games being a waste of time just kinda seems to be a waste of time. You can't make a career out of it. Look at the gaming employment numbers. With the mobile boom, it is currently estimated that over 1 million people earn money from gaming, and a large number of those people have made games their entire life. From marketing to design to programming and even testing, this is an industry that is valued in the tens of billions of dollars every single year. And while it is kind of tough to get into some of the areas professionally, it's an industry that's growing and here to stay. Video games make you stupid. This view is closed-minded and dangerous. There have been 8 different types of intelligence defined in each of us, and video game does a lot to improve a wide variety of these intelligences. From hand-eye coordination to decision-making, video games have been proven time and time again to make us smarter. Let's break it down. In kids, video games can improve early literacy in 4 and 5-year-old children, especially letter recognition and story comprehension. And kids who play Tetris for 30 minutes a day for 3 months had a thicker cerebral cortex than those who didn't. In companies, more than 100 Fortune 500 companies, including IBM, use some form of gaming employee training purposes. In life, Call of Duty players performed up to 50% better than non-players at making out details in clutter and managing multiple events at the same time. And even in medicine, surgeons who game are 27% faster and made 37% fewer errors compared to those who didn't. You can't meaningfully express yourself through video games. This last one is a big load of garbage that needs to be put to rest right now. The meaningful expression argument has even stopped video games from being constitutionally protected. On April 19, 2002, U.S. District Judge Stephen N. Limbaugh Sr. ruled that video games do not convey ideas and thus enjoy no constitutional protection. Many early video games were little more than shooting galleries where players were encouraged to blast everything that moved. But modern video games are designed to be ethical testing grounds. They allow players to navigate an expansive and open-ended world, make their own choices, and witness consequences. The Sims designer Will Wright argues that games are perhaps the only medium that allows us to experience guilt over the actions of fictional characters. In a movie, one can always pull back and condemn the character or the artist when they cross certain social boundaries, but in a game, we choose what happens to the characters. In the right circumstances, we can be encouraged to examine our own values by seeing how we behave in virtual space. In gaming, we are given the opportunity to express our competitiveness, our collaboration, our creativity in problem solving, and a whole range of other ways that can be more meaningful to us than many things the real life offers. Do you really think that flipping burgers at Wendy's is giving your soul a meaningful opportunity to express itself? Get real. So there you have it. It looks like gaming's not so bad after all. We've debunked 10 of the biggest misconceptions non-gamers have about gamers. But are there any more that we missed? Can you argue any of our points? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fun videos like this one.